some background now. Maya Fisher-French is the host of Money Matters here on ENC. She's joining us now live from Cape Town. Maya, good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time. I mean, we've seen us falling to all kinds of scams, even the so-called 99 Rand scam from banks, and there are several others. And you've been talking to the authorities just to find out exactly what are they investigating. Can you just tell us what you found out?
So I met with the new head of enforcement and investigations at the Financial Sector Charter Authority, and this is part of a sort of transformation of the regulators in the financial sector. And what was really great to hear was how much their powers have expanded, and this is exactly the kind of thing that they're going to be able to have more power to investigate. So firstly, the Conduct Authority actually now oversees banks as well. It's going to look at banking conduct and all of that as well as part of its ambit. But one of the really key ones that I thought was important was that up till now, they could only investigate people who were licensed by them. So the old Financial Services Board, it's now become the Financial Sector Charter Authority. If I went to them as a journalist and I said, listen, I've picked up the scam, there's this chap selling something that he shouldn't be selling, they'd say, well, he's not licensed by us, so he doesn't fall under our authority, and that has changed. So now they're saying anybody who is involved in selling a financial product or in the financial service sector falls under our ambit, whether they're licensed or not, which means that we can investigate pretty much anybody. The other thing they said was that international jurisdiction now applies as well. So again, I'd get these emails from people saying, I've invested on a Forex platform overseas and I gave them my credit card and now my money's disappeared, or I can't get my money back. And the authorities always said, well, it's outside the country. They're not licensed by us. There's nothing we can do. And now they're saying, no, we're now going to look at those cases and we're going to look at international jurisdiction. So what we will do is we will work with international authorities at trying to bring these people to book. It's unlikely you'll get your money back, but at least they can try and stop those sort of operators in South Africa. And the third thing that I found also very, very positive is that they're now working proactively. So rather than waiting for consumers to come to them with problems, they're actually scanning social media, they're looking at adverts, and they're even sending mystery shoppers into seminars and presentations where I think a lot of people sort of sell things they shouldn't be and sell a lot of these sort of fraudulent schemes. So I think overall that's going to be that empowerment of the authority to really expand its jurisdiction is going to be very, very positive for consumers and hopefully stop some of these scams before they get so big and take in so much money.
Now, what kind of punishment can be meted out in terms of stopping them? Can the Conduct Authority, for instance, fine people? Can it take the licenses away if they're operating locally and it's within its jurisdiction?
So I think it's a very good question, because there's certain things they can and cannot do. They're not a criminal court, so people still have to go to court to be, to have a judgment against them. But what they can do is certainly they can disbar someone, so they can take their license away to operate. But if it's somebody who's already operating outside of the license environment, they can do the investigation. They can hand all of that information over to the police for prosecution. And they are saying that is obviously where the weak point is, that it's taking sometimes up to 5 years for people to face prosecution, and they're also working very closely with the police on improving that turnaround.
Yeah. Are they focusing only on banks or any financial sector type operation, Maya?
Yeah, any financial sector type operation. So it could be Forex traders. I mean, he specifically mentioned people like Forex traders and cryptocurrency traders. And I mentioned those because these are the guys on Facebook who say, give me 1,000 Rand and I'll give you 5,000 by the end of the week, and they disappear with your money. So really anybody who's involved in something that relates to the financial services sector or selling a product that is an investment, they fall under the sector, under the charter, the Conduct Authority.
Okay, and just very briefly, I mean, as a consumer, if I feel I've been scammed, I don't know, I can go directly to them as an individual. They don't only receive complaints from institutions like banks.
Absolutely, and in fact, it's critically important that you do. I think the email address is info@fsca.co.za, but it's really, really important that as consumers we report these sort of scams, because then they have the information and they can actually go and investigate. And just keeping quiet about it, doesn't give them the sort of information that they need to go and try and close these sort of scams down.
Thank you very much. That's Maya Fisher French. Now, still coming.